this is a post from the Overemployed subreddit, which is a community for people who are doing this, trying to work simultaneously several jobs and get away with it. So this one post that we're reading, this person had 3 full-time jobs, but LinkedIn is actually what did them in. They were, our VP couldn't find me on LinkedIn, so they messaged the recruiting firm who hired me and saw job 1 on my profile. So job 2 terminated them immediately, and then they reached out to job 1 and said, hey, you should know this guy's been working multiple jobs. So ended up losing that job. And then job 3 was also contacted because it had been on the resume. So they ended up losing all 3 of their jobs.
There's another one. This is from a working mom who works from home, and she picked up 2 jobs, both in finance. And if you read through her post, she talks quite a lot about how much work it was to figure out how to balance both of these gigs. But in the end, she has managed to find a way to fit both of her jobs into the same working day. And she says that this has allowed her to increase her total income to $160,000, which to her, as she says, might not be that much, but from a person like me with no degree and grew up poor as dirt, it feels like a dream. And so she has found a way to hack the system, to be a little punk rock, I think is the way we normally phrase it around here, and pull off 2 jobs at once with presumably, Jason, good reviews. And to me, this is on the edge of ethics, but I think I'd be curious to know what you think about the mom in this case, and if she's being unethical.
It's obviously unethical.
Okay.
And at the same time, you could have sympathy for a mom trying to provide for their family and be happy for a mom making $160,000, even though you don't agree with how she's going about it.
Fair enough.
At the end of the day, it's stealing. But the working class, the Mondamis of the world might say, hey, you know, the system is rigged. CEO pay is 18,000 times the frontline worker. Therefore, you know, fair game to take it from a corporation. Lon, you want to split the difference here?
I don't think it's stealing. I think, you remember the old George Carlin bit where he's like, he was against drug testing, mandatory drug testing at work. Because it's like, if I'm high and you can't tell, I win. I got away with it. And I don't think that
that's a comedy routine, but a good one.
He's joking. He's talking about, I don't agree with that. But I do think that kind of same standard I would apply here. If your 2 jobs can't tell that you're working another job, if you're doing the fullest, you're doing everything your employer demands, they think you're doing a stellar job, they would never know unless they found out via LinkedIn or something. I feel like that should be okay. Like, I don't think that's stealing. I think you're fulfilling there's never been a time where that job was like, hey,
what if the document says your document says there's a certain number of hours and any side hustle you have or side jobs you need to clear for IP reasons, etc.
You shouldn't violate your work contract.
Which
Nobody's
she
arguing
clearly
that.
is, and this is in every document. So yeah,
I agree. You should, like, it is a violation of your terms of employment for sure. I don't think it rises to the level of stealing. I think it's like,
I'm on Jason's side here, Lon, and let me tell you why.
Here we go. Wow.
Yeah. So I was interviewing someone, I think this was a couple of jobs ago when I was a manager, and they were doing the, when I had finished my tasks, can I go home thing? And I realized that this person was going to try to do the absolute minimum and then leave the office at 3:15 or 12:45 or whatever they felt like they were done for the day.
Oh, wow.
And it just seemed really antagonistic towards the team dynamic. And I didn't want to have to be making sure that if they didn't have work from 2:57 to 2:59, they were going to leave because they were done.
You're supposed to find something to do, and ask your boss, what else can I do to help the company?
The problem there was not the second job. The problem there was leaving early. Like,
I know.
I'm saying the standard should be you're doing everything that's expected of you at every job. Neither job has a complaint. You're not around. I wish you weren't missing this hour. Where are you during this time? Obviously, that would be a violation.
And now, the reason why I didn't want to hire this person is because it sounded like they were going to be an enormous pain to manage.
That's like triple red flags.
Yeah, I would not hire that person either.
Just absolutely not. But what I think some people do is treat their job as a single player game versus a team effort. And so what you don't want are people that are acting in a way that's kind of antisocial in a work environment. So one way that overemployed people get away with it is by constantly being on a call or being unavailable or being having big blocks in their calendar. So what they're doing is they're taking on more work and getting good reviews, but they're making their work life really onerous on their other coworkers who are in the same level as them.
Interesting.
And so I'm always going to be wink, wink, nudge, nudge at people that are bending the system for their own benefit because #capitalism. But I don't think these people are treating their coworkers well. And that to me is where
I like both of your takes. I think there's a failure of management as well to communicate well. And so this is like an edge case of dysfunction. I think probably half of remote workers are abusing it and the other half are probably, I think half are abusing it on the margins. Maybe not significantly, but abusing it to a certain extent. 25% are doing exactly the same as their office, and probably 25% are doing more and putting in more effort. And so I think some managers and some companies look at it holistically and like, we're probably getting abused by some people on the margins. We're probably getting an advantage. Or let's just take out the word abuse because it's loaded. Let me should give another word. We're probably getting the worst end of the deal with some number of people, the better end of the deal with another group of people, and the same. So it all comes out in the wash, and we got to be better managers. I have given this a lot of thought because we had to lock all our computers down. We're a finance company. So when you're a finance company, you have all kinds of regulations, et cetera. So we went through that whole process of locking everything down. We know the IP addresses of people logging into very critical services that might have like some due diligence documents, a document library, legal documents, all kinds of stuff that would be just really bad. As a secondary fact of that, we know the activity on all of our computers. And one of those activities we know is just how productive people are on their computers. And so, we looked at that. And I haven't looked at it in months, but people on the team look at it. And what we found was our manager's estimation of who was putting in the most effort. I'm just saying effort, not impact. And you're looking for both things as an employer. You're looking for people who put in a lot of effort. Great. Thank you for putting in so much time and being so diligent. But effort without impact is just busy work. So you don't want that either. You're looking for both of those things. I have come to the conclusion that there are people, or I found there were people abusing the system. There were people abusing the system. We were candid to them that, hey, looks like you're working 5 or 6 hours a day. We gave you the trust of working from home. And that person eventually left the company because I told them, you're returning to an office. I said, can't trust this person. And therefore I had them return to an office, and they left the company shortly thereafter. And the way I looked at it was, well, if I'm paying you for 40 plus hours a week and you've got a 6-figure salary and you're working 5 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 6 hours a day, there was some pretty significant abuse there. I can't trust you. I'm just going to put you on, hey, you got to come to the office and let's see if you can actually do the base number of hours. I also had some people who maybe were just under that, but they're high performers. And I said, let it slide. I have some people who work the exact 40 hours a week and their impact is tremendous. And so now I've decided that I'm going to change the bonus pool at my company, which is a bonus pool. You don't have to participate in it, to recognize both things, impact and effort. So I talked to, my partner, Jackie, and said, when you do the bonuses, let's make them more frequent, because young people getting a yearly bonus is just too far from the time they did. So I said, let's either go quarterly or even monthly, and just every month name the top 3 impact players, the top 3 effort players. Effort, the amount of effort you put in, which is in hours, and impact, which is in results. And then give a reward for it. So now we will celebrate those 2 things, and I will use the power of praise and rewards, not punishment and admonishment, as a manager. And I think that's, as best as I can determine with my 35 years in business on the planet, the way to do this.